Hey guys, GWS here, and this is a response to a Reddit post. I just figured it'd be more convenient, easier to do it through a video, though I think I'm gonna corroborate everything in writing so I can have more of a statistical picture. But after looking at this, um, I can already see how this is gonna go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and do the video portion. I'm not gonna write everything down on video, but if there's closer statistical analysis needed, I'll record some numbers and I'll plot them through some kind of trend, and then we'll see what the trend is between. So this is a post I made about Betsy DeVos on the David Pakman Reddit, right? Basically, what I'm arguing here is like, Betsy DeVos may not be the most qualified person. She did flop her 60 Minutes interview, and she just sounds awkward during her interviews. Like she doesn't have a lot of detailed knowledge about how the education system works, um, and that is a negative because you don't want people who just flop around. But here's the thing about Betsy DeVos, and this is what um, redeems herself for me, and that is she truly believes in school choice. She's one of its stronger proponents, and she has put her money where her mouth is. As a huge billionaire, she could just sit on her billions, but no. She has been a super strong advocate for charter and private schools, school choice, and has dedicated her life pretty much to this point. Pretty much dedicated her a large portion of her wealth to trying to help and institute all these systems, and it's a big passion of hers, and to me that's a redeeming quality. So but we're not going to necessarily argue Betsy DeVos on this. It's so um it's such a divisive issue. I would prefer that we stick to the school choice debate. um and somebody posted an interesting response. They posted this political article that I've basically been seeing people, they've been like marching in Paris to this basically. Let's look at the political article just so you can know what it is. We'll go ahead and leave this because here it is. DeVos's Michigan schools experiment gets poor grades. So this is basically they are cherry picking something here. So they're talking about the state of Michigan, how their charter schools perform poorly compared to public schools, um, and how like they're trying to make the argument that charter schools do worse than public schools, right? And that's the claim we're going to test because see what the person did is there's the Discord. I'm going and close this. There's nothing in there. Um, so there's that. But the one thing this person didn't post, and probably for good reason, is this right here. Here's the National Report Card. This is where Politico gets its information. Um, and as you can see, this has a variety of different subjects, and each can be broken down into, I'm assuming, okay, it looks like these are just going to be more recent results, right? So like we're gonna look at all this, and we're gonna see who wins in every category, right? So okay, let's start. Um, we don't have anything for arts and music. Um, let's click through all this and see if we can um, see if anything provides data. Not public, not private. So a lot of this will probably be at the state level for certain things. There's large city public. So these are going to be the four categories. We're only going to look at these three because we're just interested in as a whole. Once you start getting into specific large cities, you start getting into demos, and it can get very complicated. So the argument they're making is that charter and private schools get um, worse grades, right? So that's the claim we're going to test here. So first of all, um, you'll probably see these categories. In fact, we're gonna kind of go through some of these. We'll go through. Well, let's see if we can fit it all here. In fact, maybe if I zoom this out a little bit and I go here, yeah, okay, we can just fit everything here. Um, so, like, just to avoid complications, we're gonna look at one of these at a time. You guys will be able to see this. So, okay, so in civics, let's break this down. Public and non-public, because they combine public and charter for some reason. Non-public just means um, like they're publicly funded, but they're not part of the public school chain. That is, like, they're funded publicly, but they're also funded by non-profits and all that. Charter schools, mostly. That's going to refer to. But they also, I don't know if this is exclusively or they, um, but anyhow, we're gonna look at these three categories because I think this refers to charter. I'm not sure. Somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. So, but either way, this is it's not even going to matter because my point will be proven either way. So, okay. So first of all, in civics, how do public and non-public perform? 27, 23, 24, and as you can see, this is for grade 4, this is for grade 8, this is for grade 12. So elementary and then just before high school and then just before you graduate. So 27, 23, 24. And this number here represents the, let's see, I believe it is the percentage above, okay, here we go, right here. Percentage of students at or above proficient. Excuse my poor vision. Okay, so there, for civics we got 27, 23, 24. Public only is 26, 22, 23. So, um, you see there's a little bit of a dip when you go to public, but then you go to private, and look at this, 35, 38, 38. Nobody's doing that well in civics. I hate to see the scores this low because civics is pretty damn important, especially in our political climate, but public schools get blown away by private schools. Mic check. Just make sure. I don't want to have to do a second take of a 30-minute video or whatever this is going to be. Oh, by the way, for funsies, we're also going to look at Michigan too. Okay, so we'll just go down to economics. This is still private. Um, and then we'll go up from there. So this only records grade 12. So that's 62. Public is 41. And you get the slight improvement with the public non-public. So 61, 41, 42. So you take your pick. you know, the only one above 50% is public schools. So, okay, so let's look at geography. Public, non-public, 21, 27, 20. And now let's go to public only. 20, 25, 19. Abysmal. And private schools only. 32, 44, 33. Not even close. Not even close. Actually, you can... I just noticed you could select from this to at advanced, at or above proficient, at or above basic. That'd be interesting to look at too, but we could also look at by base year too. So this is kind of interesting. You can peruse this data. Okay, so now we've looked at geography. So public schools seem to be getting the floor wiped with them, no matter what category you look at. So here's math. 4847, grade 12 is not mentioned for whatever reason. That's kind of where you learn your math too, your advanced math. So, okay. So 4847, you go to public, 3932, and they do have it measured 23. So not as big of a blowout, but still blown out. Let's see how much of a blowout it was. 40, yeah, pretty big blowout actually. And then public non-public is 40 33 25, a little bit better than the public, but not by much. Okay, so let's look down here. You got reading. The major international tests only usually measure math, science, reading, by the way. So it's like, okay, reading 36 34 37. You like to see better. Public 35 33 36, slightly worse again. You see the pattern in this, right? 49 57 54 for private. So this is becoming quite the bloodbath. Okay, science 48 43. And now let's look at what it is for public. 37 33 21, absolutely awful. And then we'll, just for completion, we'll do this. I'm going to stop doing that because it doesn't even, you guys see where this is going. Technology and engineering literacy. This will be a fun one. Let's see, 43 for grade 8. So let's look at public, 43 for technology. And then 42 for public. And then let's see what it is for private. 60. That's like a full, what was it, 43 or 46? I can't remember. You got 60 for private, 42 for public. That's an 18-point difference, folks. That's the difference between like your grandmother's PC knowledge and a pretty competent somebody who is an amateur computer scientist. That's the difference we're talking about here. That's the difference right there. 42 to 60. That is horrible. This just, I didn't expect this kind of a bloodbath. Let me just tell you that right now. We're just looking at public and private because we know this. 19, 17, 11. This is for public versus 31, 31, 17. 19, 17, 11 versus 31, 31, 17. Total bloodbath. Absolute massacre. Absolute massacre. And yet, we have Politico, and we have people on Reddit, and we have all the left-wingers on YouTube and all that. They're sitting here, and they're looking at this, and they're saying, gotcha, Michigan. This is the whole nation. This ain't just Michigan. Okay, so private is 39.41 in writing. I hate to see what public's going to be in this. Oh my god. Oh my god. 39, 40, 27, 26, 25. Okay, not as bad as I thought. But still bad. And still far worse than private options. So what can you take from this? It's simple. Private schools are vastly superior. Let's look at some of this too. Compared to base year. Now, what's base year? I don't know. I don't. Let's look at some of this. See, I don't. Okay, this is 98 to 2010. Up 8 points. Up 5 points. Yeah, let's do this. Okay, so they're up 8, up 5. And I don't know if there's no improvement. I don't know what this diamond means. Like if they don't measure it, if they don't have enough data, or maybe it's they don't have enough data for all I know. Let's see, and actually with some of these public schools, they've been at a little bit of improvement. Um, 857 2820 7644 1093. I'm assuming these are percentages. Um, Base year compared to current year. Yeah, I'm assuming it's a percentage. That's that's what I'm assuming. Actually decreased since 1992 in reading level for seniors. That is sad. Okay, now let's look at private. Private schools, not a lot of data, but you see much significant improvements, except for strangely goes down a little bit more in reading, which is probably the only good news for them in this whole thing. Um, but eighth graders had a little higher, probably about the same as public. 22 and 24 improvement in mathematics compared to public schools. 28 and 20. So that's kind of a wash, actually. And maybe public schools have improved more, but it's so let's look at compared to most recent year. Just look at some of this for fun. Um, yeah, it's yeah. I don't think this is a very good, because it's not going to be fair, because public schools didn't do very well last year, and that could just be an outlier year. I'm not going to be that unfair to them. So for a final thing, for funsies, let's look at the Michigan data. I want to see what we can gather from this. Um, and actually, here's an improved data explorer. Um, we'll follow up on that in another video. I'll look at that up after this. And if there's stuff to expand upon, then I'll put it there. Maybe the charter school data will be in there, separated from everything else. So, this is, okay, so yeah, at or above proficient. We'll do that. So this is, just for Michigan. We can't really, I don't know if we can separate this from, these are just big city schools, I'm assuming. Um, I don't think we could do public and private for Michigan, sadly. So, here's the video. I'll probably post this on the Reddit, but, because I don't think, like the data here is just clear. Private schools are better. But charter schools are another question. And if there's more data to present, then I am going to do a follow-up video on that. And perhaps we'll be writing things down, or perhaps I'll have stuff written down. I'll decide at the time. But anyhow, this is going to go up on Reddit, and this is going to go up on my YouTube. Thanks for listening, guys, and God bless.